Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about the mitral valve prolapse, or we also call it as floppy valve syndrome, or it is also called as Barlow syndrome. There is one more name for it, which is Barlow syndrome. So first, in the mitral valve prolapse or floppy valve syndrome or Barlow syndrome, here there is ballooning of mitral valve into the left atrium. So if you see, right, so here the mitral valve which is present, okay, there is ballooning of these mitral valve into the left atrium during the systole, like this. Okay, so because of this ballooning of mitral valve into the left atrium, there is excess stress in the chorda tendineae muscles which are attached to the valves. These will show excess stress and this results in subendocardial ischemia. So what is happening here is, first and foremost, there is ballooning of mitral valves. When there is ballooning of mitral valve leaflets, these mitral valve leaflets will be pushed up. Okay, so as a result they are pushed up into the left atrium. So there is stress which is present on chorda tendineae, and also it is present on chorda tendineae, and it is also present on papillary muscles also. So because of this stress which is present on chorda tendineae and papillary muscles, this will result in subendocardial ischemia. Okay, this causes subendocardial ischemia. So when there is this type of repeated stress on the papillary muscles causing subendocardial ischemia on repeated cycles, it will at the end results in hypoxia leading to ischemia, and it can develop arrhythmias also in this case. Okay, so this is about the pathophysiology of mitral valve prolapse, right? So what are the causes of mitral valve prolapse? So if you see the causes of mitral valve prolapse, it can occur due to, one, there can be myxomatous degeneration of mitral valve. This is a type of degeneration which is most commonly involved in mitral valve prolapse. Okay, so this occurs due to the defect in type 3 collagen arrangement, and as a result there is broken myofibrils are seen. As a result, there is broken myofibrils are seen in the valve tissue due to myxomatous degeneration. So it easily bulges up higher, leading to the development of valve. This is type 3 collagen, to be clear, not 3 types of collagen. Now the second type of second cause for mitral valve prolapse is any connective tissue disorders which have defect in the which causes defect in collagen, or any component of connective tissue will also cause mitral valve prolapse, like Marfan syndrome. If you remember, Marfan syndrome occurs due to the defect in chromosome 15. Defect results in this Marfan syndrome. Here the defect is present in the protein fibrillin 1. Okay, so then the other connective tissue disorders, if you see, other connective tissue disorders include, we have Rubberman syndrome, Rubberman syndrome, or also called as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Here in Rubberman syndrome or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, there is hyperstretchability of hand, and this mainly occurs due to collagen defect. And one more connective tissue disorder is osteogenesis imperfecta. This is also due to collagen defect. So in all these conditions there is mitral valve prolapse. Then if you see the third condition, there is a syndrome which is called as straight back syndrome. In this straight back syndrome conditions, as the name, normally if you remember, we have curvatures of our body. So we have cervical curvature, then we have the thorax, and then we have the lumbar curvature. Okay, this is how the curvatures of our body will be seen. Okay, but in straight back syndrome, instead of having these curvatures, mostly there is back is straight. So that means here, what is happening here in straight back syndrome, there is loss of thoracic kyphosis is seen. There is loss of thoracic kyphosis is seen. So as a result, anteroposterior diameter, this anteroposterior diameter will be less. So because the anteroposterior diameter is less, the place of available for heart is also less, and as a result of this will also lead to myxomatic degeneration of mitral valve, leading to mitral valve prolapse. Then if you see the fourth cause, that is rheumatic fever, subacute bacterial endocarditis, dilated cardiomyopathy, or atrial septal defects. Okay, in all these cases, because of whatever the reason is, there is excessive stretching of the papillary muscles. Okay, so whenever here on examination, that too mainly on auscultation, if you see, now the mitral valve, okay, this is the tricuspid valve, now this is the mitral valve. Mitral valve has now ballooned into the left atrium, right? Now when the mitral valve will come back to its position, that is when it closes suddenly with a force, so that results in a mid systolic click because of the extra tension which the chorda tendineae muscles will acquire because of the stretching, extra stretching. Okay, so this causes mid systolic click, and as I have already said, there is history of arrhythmias may be present, or at least if not arrhythmias, the patient will complain of recurrent history of chest pain, which are due to missed arrhythmias. Then if you see the other main clinical features, mainly the patient of mitral valve prolapse will suffer with he is mostly asymptomatic, because it takes some time for this mitral valve prolapse to occur. He also has history of chest pain, as I have already said, that too this is substernal chest pain which occurs due to ischemia. Then there can be history of palpitations, there can be history of arrhythmias. Palpitations can occur, history of palpitations can occur due to premature ventricular contractions, ventricular tachycardia, paroxysmal supraventricular tachycardia, atrial fibrillations. Any type of murmur can cause palpitations, so you should check for it. Then sometimes there can be transient ischemic attack, can also occur due to the embolization of the plaques which are present in the heart. Okay, then whenever this can also result in sudden cardiac death also. So all these are the features which can be seen in mitral valve prolapse. Then if you see on auscultation, as I have already said, there is on auscultation there is first ejection click will be there, followed by first and foremost there will be S2. After S2 there will be an ejection click. This ejection click is followed by mid systolic click. Here in mitral valve prolapse, because of the tension in the chorda tendineae muscles due to myxomatous degeneration. So these chorda tendineae may be damaged to such an extent that mitral regurgitation can occur. So there can be a chance of a murmur of mitral regurgitation to be seen in these patients. So if mitral regurgitation occurs, then because of the degeneration of the heart valves will become weak, and as a result they will have difficulty in closing, and as a result the blood flows from the left ventricle to the left atrium, leading to regurgitation. As this blood flow occurs in the diastole, so this leads to as this blood flow occurs in the systole while the left ventricle is contracting, the blood normally while the left ventricle is contracting, the mitral valve closes it so tightly that the blood does not enter from left ventricle to left atrium. But now because this mitral valve is not closing completely, there is blood can grow from left atrium to left ventricle. This will result in late systolic crescendo decrescendo murmur. Decrescendo murmur. So let me just draw the murmur in representation form. So we have S1, this is S2. Because of the sudden tension of chorda tendineae, okay, here there is late systolic decrescendo, crescendo, decrescendo murmur will start and it will end like this. Okay, now so if you see in the mitral valve prolapse, most commonly in the mitral valve prolapse we have 3 leaflets, right? Which leaflet is most commonly involved? Posterior leaflet is most commonly involved in mitral valve prolapse, and as a result, because of posterior leaflet being involved, it regurgitates the blood anteriorly. So as a result, the murmur which you see in mitral stenosis, this late crescendo decrescendo murmur will radiate to the to the base of the heart. It radiates to base of the heart. Then if you see, if anterior leaflet is damaged, in a similar way, that is if posterior leaflet is damaged, just think a situation where anterior leaflet is damaged. If anterior leaflet is damaged, then the blood will regurgitate to the posterior part, right? So regurgitates posteriorly, and because of the regurgitation posteriorly, the murmur is radiates to axilla and also to the back. Okay, so these are important things. Now one more important thing about the murmur, this is very important. So if you remember the murmur which we are talking about, there are certain characteristics of mitral valve prolapse murmur. That is, this prolapse is inversely proportional to the size of the ventricular cavity, size of the left ventricle. If you see, we will see different postures. Okay, if you see on standing posture, what is happening on standing posture? On standing posture, blood will gets accumulated in the lower limbs. Because blood is present in the lower limbs and lesser blood reaches the heart, so this will result in decreased venous return. Whenever the venous return decreases, the cavity size of the heart will also decrease. So left ventricular size decreases. So as I have said, prolapse is inversely proportional to left ventricle. Here left ventricle size decreases. So mitral valve prolapse murmur will increase. What does this increase mean? This increase mean it occurs earlier. Okay, this is mitral valve prolapse murmur will increase, and mid-systolic click occurs earlier. Okay, this is in standing position. Now if you see in squatting position we will see. If you see in squatting position, you are appearing a posture in such a way that this will push the blood from the lower limbs to the heart. So as a result, there is increased venous return, there is increased left ventricular size, and this will increase the mitral valve prolapse murmur, and this will decrease the mitral valve prolapse murmur, and it causes mid systolic click to occur later. So this mitral valve prolapse murmur will changes with position. So mitral valve prolapse murmur increases and a mid systolic click occurs earlier. In standing position, in Valsalva position also it becomes earlier, it occurs earlier, and in amyl nitrate inhalation also. Okay, so this is about the posture of mitral valve, posture relationship of murmur to mitral valve prolapse. So if you see the investigations, ECG should be done to see if there are any premature ventricular contractions or if there are any type of arrhythmias. Echocardiography will show the bulge of the valve. If bulge of the valve is more than 2 millimeters compared to tricuspid valve with late systolic murmur, you can think of this mitral valve prolapse. Now if you treat this condition, on treatment you will have to give primary prophylaxis for infective endocarditis, because there is increased propensity of the mitral valve prolapse to cause infective endocarditis, mainly due to pressure changes. Then beta blockers should be given for palpitations. Then you should also give, if atrial fibrillation occurs, in such cases we should give anticoagulants should be given to the patients. And in case of mitral regurgitation, if it occurs, it should be treated with mitral valve repair. So this is the main treatment options for mitral valve prolapse. Thank you for watching.